Another Dooley Noted Podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Hello again, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, and this is Another Dooley Noted Podcast, as always, presented by Titan MRI, our good friends over there, Joe Calorio. I think his summer of baseball may be over, too. I know Jeff Cardozo's is kind of over, but you never know. Some of these teams are so good, you play all summer. But we appreciate Joe so much. And, of course, brought to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. I want to start out the show today. We got a great guest today, the new voice of the Gators, Sean Kelley. I know you guys have read a lot about him. Different people have done stories, and all of them have been really good, and they actually helped me write my story that I wrote for the alumni newsletter. That, you know, he seems like a really good guy. I'm going to ask him some offbeat questions. We'll do a yes, no, way, or maybe with him, brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteaks. Somebody didn't turn his phone off. Now, that should be apology right there. But I'm going to apologize for the show on Monday. It did not go well. We lost a mic. We had a new computer. We're all going to take the blame. None of us were right, and don't worry about it. It was one of those fluky things. When you do a show twice a week, sometimes things don't go right, and we'll try to keep them going right from now on, right? That's what Evan said, yeah. And Evan's in charge, man. You know that. All right, it is time for us to do the hand law starting lineup. We do this to start off every show, and then hopefully it's a lot of fun for you, and we love Chris Hand over at Hand Law. Of course, the starting lineup is presented by Hand Law, a Florida law firm which helps clients with government. You can learn more about Hand Law by visiting its website at www.hand.law. The firm is available for consultation in Jacksonville. I still want to get that tattooed on my arm. I'm thinking about it. All right, number one is the British Open. Look, the British Open, whether you think it's the biggest story this week, it is to me, and really enjoyed watching it today. And I know a lot of you got into our contest, the Leonardo's contest. We won't know whether Billy Horschel makes the cut or not. He was above the cut at last I saw. But I feel pretty good because I picked Cameron Smith to win it. And he's got the lead now. By the time you listen to this on Sunday, maybe it could be like 9 back. But it was still one of the most interesting lead-ups to a British Open I've ever seen, with all the LIV stuff, with all the Tiger stuff. It was pretty amazing. I was so fired up about watching. It also was amazing how little they showed of Phil Mickelson. Now, he played like crap. In fact, they were showing him. They finally showed him. I don't think I saw him for 2 days, and all of a sudden they showed him hitting one off the road hole, which is 17. So you got to hit off this gravel, and the gravel's not all even. And they're like, oh, the magician that Phil Mickelson is, yeah, he'll do. And he blades it over the green. So he's not ready to play golf. And he doesn't care about playing golf anymore. All he cares about collecting money. And I've lost a lot of respect for him in that way. A lot of these guys have. But we're sitting here watching this British Open, and some of us, me, are rooting against any LIV guys. But, you know, we'll just see what happens. I'm just going to watch it. It's been a lot of fun to watch. It has been interesting, though. There's no doubt about it. Just the build-up, because, you know, I think it was on Tuesday, they gave Jack Nicklaus the title of honorary resident of St. Andrews, okay? And you and I would go, yeah, what are you going to do, the keys of the city next? It's no big deal. And then they posted the other 2 people who won have been given this award. This is a good list to be on, right? If I'm the 4th guy on this list, which we all know since I've never been to St. Andrews, isn't going to happen, although I will say this, bucket list-wise, I totally blew it this year. I should have gone to St. Andrews. It just, anyway. So here's a list of people who have been awarded the honorary resident of St. Andrews. Jack Nicklaus, who just received the award. Bobby Jones, some consider the best golfer of all time, or Jack Nicklaus, one or the other. And Ben Franklin. Now, come on. If you're on a list with Ben Franklin for anything, That's pretty good. So all that buildup, all the Tiger ripping LIV, which I loved. I don't know why I have such a hatred for this thing. I know part of why I do, but not all of why I do. But at any rate, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with all the guys. Right now it's when we're sitting here talking, even though they're still playing golf. Obviously, on Monday we'll have a lot more to talk about who won and who did well. It was interesting to watch Tiger Woods today. He didn't play well. Obviously, he got buried on the first hole of the day, which first of all, that's a tough break. You drive it into a divot, and I don't know how many of you have ever played golf or play golf and have driven in a divot, because usually you roll it out if you're playing, some other course. But he drove it in a divot, didn't hit a good shot, hit it in the water out of there, and made double bogey. And it was just like, that's it, he's done. You could tell the kind of the whole expression that he had from that. So I felt bad. He ended up 9 over. Obviously, won't make the cut, but today probably was the last round he'll ever play at St. Andrews, which he loves dearly. He's won there twice. Did not stop on the Smokin' Bridge, which is the legendary bridge where Arnold and Jack and almost everybody gets pictures taken. He didn't stop. He kept going through, and I was like, why? Why would you not stop and wave to the crowd, let everybody take your picture? We got enough pictures of Tiger, okay? I know everybody wants to. And here's the thing. I think in the back of Tiger's mind, and because I know him so well, Evan, I don't know if you know or not, but he's given something to our golf tournament almost every year. He doesn't know he has, but he has given something to our golf tournament every year. Anyway, I think it was because he's like, all these guys are going to take these pictures and print them up and make money out of them. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was because he goes, 8 years from now, if I'm still healthy enough, I'm coming back and then I'll make money. I'll doff my hat. Okay, so the British Open is going to be a lot of fun all week. I've really enjoyed it so far. By the way, our man Mark Calcavecchia shot 21 over. That's not good. That's Pat Dooley golf right there. All right, number 2. I talked about this on the Tailgate radio show that we do, and I talked about it twice, and nobody seemed to want to bite into it. And I'm just going to say it one more time. I think there is more pressure on Anthony Richardson than any quarterback who ever followed a mediocre quarterback. And hear me out on this, okay? The point is, the most pressure that's ever been on a quarterback, start out with Jackie Ekdahl. He's following Steve Spurrier. That's a lot of pressure. There was certainly incredible pressure on Terry Dean, and he didn't handle it well when he followed Shane Matthews, who had twice SEC Player of the Year. And then there was an unbelievable pressure on Doug Johnson, a similar story, and then he was a local guy. It was hard. It was hard. It's hard. Anthony Richardson has this pressure to get Florida back because and his physical talent is incredible. I think there's a lot of people going, the whole season is going to be based on Anthony Richardson, how well he does. That's a lot of pressure, even though the guy he's succeeding is at Arizona State, and nobody's like, I wish Emory was back. No, nobody's saying that. So it's just interesting to me to think about that. Number 3 on Hand Law's starting lineup, and we again appreciate our good friends at Hand Law. SEC Media Days start Monday. And it feels like a year ago, biggest story in the last 10 years, in my opinion, was at SEC Media Days when the story broke, Texas and Oklahoma are coming to the SEC. That was the biggest story in the last 10 years, in my opinion. I don't think anything's going to happen there. The Big 12 is having their media days, and they just finished up. I think they finished up yesterday. Nothing happened there. The biggest thing that happened was Mike Gundy goes, I don't know why Texas and Oklahoma are even here. Why do they even let them in the room? Well, they're still in your league. I'm a man. I'm 40, but I just think the SEC look. We know who's going to get picked: Alabama and Georgia, right? We know pretty much any Florida player that's going to be on the All SEC team, and it won't be many. And there hadn't been many for a long time. It's been tough around here. I'm trying to think who will. I mean, you think about who they're taking. Richard Garage. I don't think he'll be All SEC. The SEC is so loaded with great offensive line. Doesn't mean he's not one of the 5 best, but I don't think he'll make it. Anthony Richardson won't be the first team. It's going to be the Heisman winner. How about that? Will be first team All SEC. And Ventrell Miller, who I think is a huge key in the season, but I don't think he makes first team All SEC. We'll see how it goes on that. But I was asked. I went to the lunch bunch group with the old coaches and former players. It's great to see my friend Guy Dennis. That's the biggest reason I went there. And they meet every Thursday to have lunch, and it's really cool. I had Bill Feinberg, the great Bill Feinberg. In fact, somebody suggested I have him on the show, and he would have some stories. I will say I may have him on the podcast. But they were asking me about this year's Florida team. I go, this team is 2 injuries away, 2 significant injuries. And I'm not saying just 2, but they're 2 injuries away from being 6-6, which was what they were last year. If everybody stays healthy and they can build some depth, they can be a 10-2 team. That's the ceiling and the floor. Or as what would Michael Jordan say that day when he was doing that presentation for North Carolina? He goes, "The ceiling is the floor." Hey, what? All right. So I don't think a lot of news is coming out of SEC Media Days. Number 4 is, and I was going to go off on a whole tangent on this, a whole thing about golf in Gainesville, because the country club closed its doors for a while. They're going to close till October. I've been trying to figure out why we're not a great golf community. I don't, and I'm not blaming anybody, but we have 4 golf courses in Alachua County. 4. This is a county of 300,000 people. I think I wrote that down now. Right. 300,000 people live in this town. Nobody wants to play golf. I don't get it. But I'm not going to get into all the politics. I mean, you go by when you drive by Meadowbrook, you drive by West End. That's just sad. I wish we were better at golf, but again, a lot of people don't retire here. That's I think the biggest reason. Maybe you can tell me why this isn't a great golf community. And I care because I like to play golf. And lastly, on the hand-loss starting lineup, Alexander Simchek, and I know I'm mispronouncing that name, is the latest guy who apparently is going to come to Florida, 6'11" guy, played over in Germany. It's a good body to have on there. I like the pieces that Todd Holland has put together. I don't know if they're going to transform into a great team. Nobody knows that. It's like last year. You thought they were going to transform into a great team. They won their first 6 games. They beat FSU. They beat Ohio State on Applebee's buzzer beater, and then it just – so I have no idea how these guys are going to work out because, again, I don't know. I want to watch Todd Holland coach games. Same with Billy Napier. We have to watch him coach games. All right, we have to take a break, and when we come back, we'll be on the Zoom line for Big Mill's Cheesesteak Zoom line and talk to Sean Kelley, who – the new voice of the Gators. I know you guys are excited about this, and I know he's excited about it because it gets him out of the heat of Las Vegas. We'll be right back with more on Another Dooley Noted Podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios.
Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
Another Duly Noted Podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Celebration Point. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook and YouTube for every podcast that we do on Mondays and Fridays at 2 o'clock. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, any of the other 39 platforms where you can find this podcast or your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below or call me if you want to do some advertising at 352-317-3444.
Spurrier's Gridiron Grill is getting ready to celebrate their one-year anniversary, and you can be a part of it. Here's a message from the head ball coach himself.
A little over 25 years ago, our 1996 Gator football team brought our first national championship trophy back home to the Swamp. And on August 11th, our restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, will be celebrating our one-year anniversary, and we're inviting you to bring that championship feeling to Celebration Point. Proceeds from the event will go to the Ronald McDonald House, and we'll have a spread of your favorite Spurrier dishes, as well as special guests, limited edition collector coins, and other prizes, including a dinner with my wife Jerry and me. But you have to get a reservation, so go to spurriers.com right now and reserve your spot before it sells out. And thank you for a super first year and for making Spurrier's Restaurant the champion of restaurants. Go Gators.
Secure your reservations now at spurriers.com. That's spurriers.com.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Bite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from Another Dooley Noted Podcast. And this is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Brewer to go. What would give you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place like this?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Rib Co. to go. Come on down and enjoy it.
Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton: taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life, and the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans.
All right, welcome back to Another Duly Noted Podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. It's a great pleasure to bring in the new voice of the Gators, Sean Kelley, who we've talked a little bit and, did a story on him for the alumni newsletter, and excited about him coming to Gainesville. Right now, I would guess it's over 110 where you are right now. Would you say, is that true?
We'll need another probably couple of hours, Pat, but I think 111 is where we'll end up today.
111. I was out there a couple of years ago, and it wasn't for me. But of course, it feels like 111 here. But
yeah,
it's really interesting. You actually were sitting in this very chair when you were being interviewed, had dinner here at Coach Spurrier's restaurant, and that must, in part, I would imagine when you walked in this place, you were like freaking out how cool it is. But it's kind of weird to be interviewing you now in the very same place where you were interviewed.
Pat, you're in the exact same chair that I was, and my wife was to my left, and Steve McLean was to my right, and that is an amazing place. The staff is incredible there, so we had a very enjoyable visit to Spurrier's, to say the least.
Yeah, it's great. It's like a big museum, but it's also a great place to eat. So we appreciate Coach Spurrier, and of course he's on every Monday here. So we love having him on. Although last Monday was kind of on, not totally on. We had sound problems. Let me ask you this. So I know that you are still going to do some stuff for ESPN around your Florida schedule. And a lot of people have asked me, was this a job that Sean wants to be in and retire here? And I said, well, yeah. I mean, I think this is exactly what he wants to do.
It's a big reason why I'm coming to Gainesville. I mean, I just find that to be a tremendous place, an institution where, yes, my plan is to finish my career. If they'll have me, obviously. So, look, at this point, I'm looking for home. And look, Louisiana's been home the last 20 years, and the next 20 to 25 will be Gainesville, Florida. And I wouldn't going to take any job at this point in my career that didn't provide me with that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny because when they were calling around to well-known and respected people to try to find the next person they wanted to get, one of them was you, and you said, well, what about me? So,
yeah,
I mean, that's a cool story.
I was flattered that they wanted my opinion on things. I guess I've reached a certain age or level in my career that I guess I just know people, or I've come to know a lot of people. And as that conversation progressed, I started to think to myself, gosh, am I cheating myself on a wonderful opportunity? And then the conversation just kind of went from there. So I had no real interest in leaving ESPN. Obviously, if I'm going back to late May, I had already begun negotiations on my next ESPN deal. So unlike other jobs where, I see an opening and I just launch myself at it, this one kind of just came in a very organic way. And I think maybe that's why it fits so well.
Well, the other thing is, Sean, I mean, play-by-play guys, have longevity. I mean, you're the fourth play-by-play guy at Florida. Think about that.
Well, and that's, again, that speaks to, what I'm seeking for my life and my career too. And, if I go back to earlier in my career, the dream was to be exactly what this job will present. So to be the voice of said institution as my career has progressed, I'm not saying I've become a little more choosy, but we're talking about, one of the premier intercollegiate athletic programs in the country. The institution itself, has done amazing work over the last couple of years to now rank amongst the top 5 public universities in the country. So I guess I wouldn't say I've earned, but at the same time, I think that for my place in life right now, in my career, this is the kind of destination that I've been hoping for and looking for.
I read the story that G. Allen Taylor wrote about you from The Athletic. Really did a really good job on it. It's way better than my story, to be honest with you. But the point is, you talked about at the end of the story about how you get to watch two guys build a program. And again, we all know these are the two sports you're going to be doing, two sports that are the main sports here. And that part of it is going to be interesting because don't forget when Mick Hubert came in here, next thing you know, here comes Steve Spurrier, and then a few years later, here comes Billy Donovan. Florida athletics in those two sports wasn't anything special, and then it went ballistic. It went crazy. Yeah,
Mick got to be a big part of, glory years for Florida. Yeah. And we're talking about a history that, goes back decades and decades and decades. But that window right there, those two head coaches and what they built for Gator Nation, it's incredible. And so much like Mick, I'm excited to see if we can repeat that with these new hires that Scott has made. So, I have been a part of different coaches and the starts of their programs, both at the college and at the pro level, but never two at the same time. And I think that it's uniquely interesting here to watch the process of both, and both come from way different backgrounds, obviously two different sports, but to be in it on the ground floor with them, and whether it be how we as fans, perceive the process and watch it as we hope grow, and we think it will. All those things are very intriguing to me, and that didn't factor into my decision to come to Florida, but it's certainly a bonus.
Have you talked to Mick, or has Mick called you?
I have reached out to Mick. Unfortunately, we've just not had a chance to get connected yet. So I'm really eager to have that conversation with him here soon.
Yeah, he'll give you all the specifics about people to avoid, like me, probably. Stop. Now, Mick and I were very close. I hated to see him leave, but I understood also why he wanted to go and why he wanted to retire, which I did allegedly, but I'm still doing all this work. For you leaving, you lived in Louisiana for 20 years, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you going to miss the etouffee and jambalaya? Is that going to be hard for you?
Well, my heart and my body probably will look for some relief from eating that kind of cuisine for 20 years. I'll be able to bring that knowledge with me to Gainesville. So perhaps a crawfish boil is in your future, Pat.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's certainly so much of what life is in Louisiana is how they eat and it's not just the food itself, it's the gathering around that food. It's a very communal type of menu usually. And so I'll miss that part of, my time in Louisiana, but I'm going to bring a lot of that, with me and probably try and shed some of this along the way.
Well, it gets pretty hot here, but of course it gets hot in Madisonville too, I know. So it's no big surprise to you that it's hot in the South in the summer.
I think the weather is pretty much identical, to tell you the truth. So, whether it be the weather or just the lifestyle of living in the Deep South, all those things will be similar in that respect when I move here at the end of the month.
Yeah. So in the story that I wrote, you talked about this, about how on the way back to Madisonville, you stopped in, well, I know it's in Rosemary Beach is where it is, a coffee shop, you and Ann Strickland and Scott Strickland and your wife, Kim, sat down and you got to meet them face to face. Any impressions from that first meeting?
Just how gracious they are. And I kind of knew that going in. Scott's reputation, not only regionally, but nationally, is a man of character, a man of faith. He's so welcoming. And, I think at that point, by the time we met, I don't want to say it was a formality because that's understating the moment for sure. But the comfort level that I found with him and the things that we were immediately able to connect upon, just you feel good about coming to a situation. And, I'll probably tell this story over and over again, but whether it be meeting with him and Ann or Steve McLean or the committee or just even people around town, I joked with Kim in that it felt like there was some town hall meeting like on Tuesday. And, it was like, all right, meeting come to order here. The Kelley visit is on Thursday. So everybody on your best behavior, here's a picture. When you see him, smile at the picture, smile at this guy. It was something like out of a reality show or, some kind of a movie in that just, whether it be at the gas station, at the drive-through, at the university itself, everybody was so welcoming and so kind. So not that I'm not used to that in places that I've been, but it was just another thing that made you feel like, God is working here and this is a plan that the doors are being blown off the hinges. So that'll be our little running joke for a while, that they must have had some big meeting, to set the whole scene for us when we arrived in Gainesville.
Yeah, it's really cool about your wife, Kim, who, really is like one of your best coaches. You mentioned that in the story that was in The Athletic, and you and I talked about how she said, every time we're just covering one team, good things happen. We like that. And instead of you being constantly, blah, 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 you don't know where you're going.
Well, it's about being invested, I think. And I think, as much as you invest in something, you get that normally, in return and maybe even 2, 3, 10, 100 times fold. So, over the last 3 years of the ESPN, it's a national broadcast. It's, kind of straight down the middle and you're not necessarily invested in one team or the other. But, when you are working as, in this case, voice of the Gators or voice of the Green Wave, or even going back to, my days at Mizzou or Southern Illinois, the shared experience that you have with a fan base, staff, players, families, all those things. So whether it be, Omaha or a bowl game or just even the pageantry that goes along with the lifestyle of SEC football, Florida football in this case, when you're invested and you're wearing the team colors and all that's when those experiences kind of organically happen. And Kim's right, the relationships that we've made over the years and those experiences are the ones that we probably treasure the most. I certainly, Pat, don't want to take away from, what ESPN has been for me in my career.
Right.
Because, look, the men and women that I've done broadcasts with at ESPN is, mind-blowing in a lot of ways with regard to where they've been in their career, the quality of their work as an analyst, and then obviously to be at some of the biggest games of my career and the venues that certainly were on a bucket list somewhere when I started all this.
For those of you who don't know, Sean is in Vegas for the Summer League games. I will be honest with you, I have not listened to any of your broadcasts of the Summer League games, nor have I watched any, because it is what it is, and of course we're just trying to get through the summer, but I'm sure you're ready to kind of get off. As much as you've enjoyed that schedule and you've done some great things and broadcast a lot of unbelievable games, you're probably ready to just kind of settle in to a one job, one community. I know you're a volunteer firefighter. You did that. You coached youth league basketball or high school basketball. I mean, you kind of want to be part of a community, don't you?
I do, and I just want to get kind of into the job. I mean, as strange as this sounds, because we've been talking about heat and humidity and everything else, I am really eager to pull on a Florida Gator t-shirt and probably a bucket hat and go stand on a sideline and watch football practice during the first week of August, because that will seem normal for me for the first time. And, now it's been several weeks, if not, a month of this process to where, I'm still working my ESPN schedule. And as you said, this, being in Las Vegas this week, but I'm really ready. And even if the boxes are still stacked in the new house, just to be able to, kind of get into that mode, grab a roster, start learning names and numbers, that'll start to really make things feel normal again. Now I've got a lot of homework to do. I've got a lot of Gator history to get my arms around and everything else. There'd be a lot of work ahead, but you're right. I'm ready to dive into the new job.
Well, I already told you I'm going to bring by a copy of my book is getting reprinted with some new chapters, Game of My Life, and I'll bring you that, and that'll give you all the history you need. You won't have to worry about anything after that.
One-stop shopping, Pat. I love it.
That's right. All right, it is time for us to play our favorite game, Yes, Nowhere, Maybe. It's brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteaks, and of course, at Big Mills Cheesesteaks, street dining are done right. And if you go in there and this is something you may want to remember, Sean. If you go in there and you make an order and you mention the Pat Dooley podcast, you get free French fries. So how about that? Now I'm hungry for French fries.
Who doesn't love free French fries?
Who doesn't? Nobody doesn't. All right, number one on Yes, Nowhere, Maybe. You already have some Gator paraphernalia.
Yeah, hold on. Stay right there just a second.
Okay. We're gonna know what he's got now, because I was curious whether he had gotten any yet.
I brought it to Vegas with me. Yes, that's the answer.
There you go. That's by the way, just so you know, that is the gator that we call the chicken foot gator. If you look at his feet, it looks like chicken feet, and it's like a lot of people love that even more than obviously the gator head that you see on ESPN and everything. So you got the chicken foot gator.
So I bought the chicken foot gator on my way out of Gainesville.
Oh, you bought it? They didn't give it to you?
Oh no, come on! So I bought this hat, and then after I was offered the job and I accepted, but the news was not going to come out for 3 or 4 days. So I certainly couldn't go around wearing this hat, especially where I live, as you might imagine. So I just couldn't wait to put it on. And now it goes everywhere I go. So there you go.
Well, don't let Brian Kelley see you. That's all. I wouldn't worry about it.
He'll be all right. Brian's got his own issues he's got to worry
He
about. Right
does, exactly. Number two, I saw I think it was on Twitter, the cake that you got to congratulate you. Is it all gone?
I got it right before I went to Las Vegas, so I'd imagine that it is all gone. I don't have firsthand knowledge.
It was orange and blue. For those of you who don't know, it was really cool looking cake. Yeah.
It's from a good friend of mine, Derek Morrell. He and his wife owned one of the Nothing But Bunt Cakes franchises. Yeah. Derek is a former athletic director. He now works for the All-State Sugar Bowl, but he was kind enough to. Again, I don't live in an area where you find a lot of blue and orange. Another reason for me to escape as soon as possible. But somehow he found the right orange and the right blue and decorated the cake with his wife. So it was pretty cool.
It was a good-looking cake. It made me hungry for it. Yeah, absolutely. Did you even get a bite?
I got 2 pieces before I left.
Okay. That'll way.
Yes.
That'll way to go. All right, finally on Yes, No Way, or Maybe, the best moment that you've called in sports was the combined no-hitter the Astros threw against the Yankees.
Maybe. No, certainly one I'll never forget.
Yeah.
There's so many cool things.
Well, the Yankees lost, and that made me happy. But I'm a Braves guy.
You're joined by many across the country. No, I mean, there are several that I could look to. I mean, Omaha was great. The 2005 College World Series. Florida was there, by the way.
Yeah,
at the time, Tulane was #1 in the country, and it was a pretty cool experience, one that I had always hoped that I might get the chance.
That was still Rosenblatt, too.
That was still Rosenblatt in 2005. So I will say this, growing up in St. Louis and being a big Cardinals fan, and I'm trying to get around how much I don't remember, but I got to call a game at Busch Stadium for ESPN Radio. So the first time I actually got to go call a game at basically my hometown stadium, even though it's Busch Stadium 3, I kind of grew up with Busch Stadium 2. But the crazy thing, I was so in my own head with that experience, and it was so nostalgic for me. I don't remember a whole lot about it, to tell you the truth. Now, thankfully, I've been back to do more games at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, and obviously I recall those much better. But if I'm trying to put my finger on certain things, and that's what you're asking me to do, those would be up there.
By the way, have you heard from former players at Florida that have reached out to you, or is that something you're going to just kind of get used to dealing with when you get – because you don't start technically till August 1st, right?
Right, yeah. So I'll be in town that weekend before. I'll be on campus on August 1st, just like everybody else trying to find a parking spot at this point.
Good luck.
Yeah, but as far as –
I've got a secret parking place I can give you that I know about, okay? I'll tell you about it.
Tell me off camera here, because I don't want your secret.
It'll be off camera because I don't want to lose mine. Yeah.
Shane Matthews, obviously, I'll be working with him, and so we've talked a little bit, but I think that's something that's probably going to happen when I'm there and have Florida as my main focus. That stuff will start to come, naturally as we progress.
Well, I can't wait to meet you physically. We've talked a couple of times now, and you seem like a great guy, a good hire. I think everybody's excited about it. As you know, Gator fans can be tough, but they're not tough on the announcers usually. They're only tough on the players and the coaches.
Yeah, and look, I'm hoping to get there and do the best job I can and do right by these teams and the fans, of course. And just I am humbled with the task ahead, and I also will truly appreciate that Mick was such a big part of so many people's lives, either through the radio or just even in person. And so I won't be Mick Hubert, but at the same time I think that over time that we'll form our own new relationships too.
Yeah, be careful there, because Ron Zook kept saying, I'm not Steve Spurrier, and that didn't work out for him. But,
it's a little different here.
As you can see, Sean, I don't pull any punches. I can't wait to meet you, though. We'll get together and have a maybe a cold one someday, and look forward to seeing you when you get here.
Can't wait. You've been so gracious, and thanks for having me. And certainly, I think we'll probably be seeing each other, within days of my arrival in Gainesville.
Yes, absolutely. Sean, thanks again. Appreciate it.
Pat, take care.
Okay, buddy. Sean Kelley, the new voice of the Gators, great guy. We've had several conversations. I've enjoyed every one of them so far, and I think I will continue to. I had every conversation I had with Mick was great. We got along great. Oh, we got to get a break. If we don't get a break, we're not going to be able to get to all our new things, including announcing a couple of new sponsors. Oh, new advertisers for Another Dooley Noted Podcast. How about that? Boom, boom, boom. We're going forward. We'll be right back with more on Another Dooley Noted Podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios.
Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
Another Duly Noted Podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Celebration Point. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook and YouTube for every podcast that we do on Mondays and Fridays at 2 o'clock. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, any of the other 39 platforms where you can find this podcast or your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below or call me if you want to do some advertising at 352-317-3444.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Bite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from Another Dooley Noted Podcast. And this is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Brewer To Go. What would give you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place like this?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Rib Co. To Go. Come on down and enjoy it.
Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton: taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life, and the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans.
Okay, welcome back to Another Duly Noted Podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. I hope you enjoyed our great interview with Sean Kelley today, the new voice of the Gators. Seems like a great guy, another Irishman. Hi, we're here. We're taking over Gainesville, all of us Irish people. I'm not that Irish, though. I mean, I have an Irish name. My great-grandfather was from County Cork, but I don't even consider myself really that Irish. I consider myself Floridian, number one. I think Floridian would be number one. St. Augustinian, number two. Gainesvillian. I don't know. Am I more of a Gainesvillian than a St. Augustinian? Probably am. I've lived here a lot longer, and I love it here. I'm not leaving. I'm not moving. You guys may want me to move. I'm not moving. All right. It is time for us to go to the Adams Ribco to go Gator of the Week. And I'm doing something a little bit different today. Today's Gator of the Week, there are 378 of them. How about that, Evan? 378 student athletes at the University of Florida were named to the SEC Academic Honor Roll. We never talk about that. When that story comes over the wire, I remember when you used to come to the Gainesville Sun, everybody go, delete, delete, delete. 79 first-time athletes. So that means you could come here as a junior college transfer or a freshman or whatever. 79 were on the academic honor roll. Now, I'm not saying that this makes Florida the greatest school ever, but we have to acknowledge things like this. If you only acknowledge athletic achievement, then no wonder guys want a lot of money. Well, no wonder they want NILs. This is important. Some names that you will recognize that were among the first-time honor roll, SEC academic honor roll people, Jack Caglione, who I think is going to be a huge part of the baseball team next year. Kawasi Reeves, who had a good finish to his season, is going to be a big part of next year. And Leanne Wong, tremendous gymnast. So there's just a few names. So these aren't just, I know that stupid commercial they do, because anything the NCAA does is stupid. But they do that stupid commercial where they go, not everybody goes pro in sports. They go pro in something else, whatever it is. And it is a factor. We can all focus on the NIL stuff and these guys getting millions of dollars and this guy, he just signed a deal and he's getting this. A lot of these other athletes are also getting NIL money, and that's fine. But the point is, some of them are going to school. Some of them are getting good degrees. Some of them know that it's not just – and look, I will say this. Caglione, who may be one of the most incredible baseball athletes I've ever seen at Florida. We'll see what he's able to do now. He had a great year this year after coming off the Tommy John. But he's going to school. He's getting grades. So I felt like today, let's honor those people with the Adams Ribco to Go Gator of the Week. Adams Ribco to Go, of course. That's where I ate last night. I always get the turkey plate. I love the turkey plate. It's really good. Especially if you get that good hot sauce. Karen got the firecracker sandwich. So we love going there about once a week, get some takeout. It's great. We love Adam so much. All right. It is time for Three Things. And as you all know, Three Things are brought to you by Hesser Kipke, a law firm based in Hale Plantation, specializing in employment, workers' comp, and family law. Visit their website at www.hklawfl.com. That's www.hklawfl.com. Okay. Or call Ken and Jennifer. That'd be the easier thing to do. That's what I would do. 352-339-9920 if you want to have them help you out. Let's get to Three Things presented by Hesser and Kipke. Let's start out with Monday I was feeling my oats a little bit about the Braves playing the Mets, and I was like, yeah, come on. We've pulled within a game and a half now. You're scared, aren't you? And then they beat them 2 out of 3. They did. They beat us 2 out of 3. So that didn't sell well with me. But luckily, the Braves have the Nationals this week, and they stink so bad. But 2.5 back. We're 90 games in. But I also told myself this. When they lost the first game, I said to myself, it's still very early in the season. There's a lot of – this is not the 62-game season or whatever it was they played during COVID. This is a full season. You got a lot of games to be played. Just keep plugging. It's one reason I thought Bobby Cox was the greatest regular season manager ever. Wasn't the greatest in the postseason. Greatest regular season manager. He knew how to get those guys to flush losses and enjoy wins. That is the key, I think, for everybody in any sport, but especially in baseball, where you're playing 162 freaking games. Flush losses, enjoy wins. All right, number 2. I had an interesting talk with somebody the other day about the University of Florida Hall of Fame. And the point that was being made was about the lists. I do all these lists for Gators Wire. I love doing them. They love running them. They get tremendous numbers. But 4 of the guys on my list of the greatest wide receivers in Florida history, 4 of the 12, are not in the UF Hall of Fame. And here's the problem is that because you only have 7 that can go in every year, so you've got to divide them up, 2 football players, 2 gymnasts, a basketball player. Yeah, and I get that, and it makes sense. And the point he was making was maybe with this new building, Florida can just do their own football Hall of Fame by itself, which makes sense to me, kind of like Auburn does. I've been to Auburn, and their building, and I'm talking about in 1995, when I went to their football building in terms of the little museum they had, it blew away anything Florida had then, let alone now. I mean, it blows away anything they have now. So why not in this new building that they're putting up, have your own football Hall of Fame? And we started talking about it, and I was thinking about this. How many people even see the people that are in the Hall of Fame, see those pictures? You've got to be either a touchdown terrace ticket holder, so that reduces it drastically, obviously, or be an event there, which I think they're holding fewer events there now. COVID may have had something to do with it. That's not the point. The point is maybe that's not a bad idea. But again, 4 guys from my all-time list of great receivers. And here's the problem. Like for a guy like Andre Caldwell, who's not in the all-time leading pass catcher in Florida history in terms of, I think it's in terms of catches. Travis McGriff that has the record, most yards, and had the best year of any Florida receiver of all time. Who was the other 2 that weren't in? Anyway, I can't remember. The point is, maybe there's another way to do things. I'm about being inclusive. I know that sometimes I think Florida people go, God, Dooley's on his bandwagon again, trying to get us to do things that are just going to cause headaches. Like, I'm not a believer in the Ring of Honor the way it goes. I don't think Scott is either, Scott Strickland. I think he wants to expand it. He ain't putting Urban in. So, but there are other people. I've said it a million times. I think Lomas Brown. I think my first 3 would be Lomas Brown, Carlos Alvarez, and Alex Brown. Alex Brown, who is the all-time leading sacker. That's a pretty good stat to have. So that would be me. But anyway, people don't listen to me over there that much. They used to, not anymore. And number 3 on 3 things presented by Hesser and Kipke. Be careful what you tweet. And we all know this, and some of us had to find out the hard way, which I did a long time ago. But this Doug Gottlieb, who I'm not a fan of, I don't like his radio personality. I liked him as a player because I interviewed him once and he was great. But the whole story I was interviewing about was how he couldn't make free throws. And this is going into the game against Florida in the Elite Eight. And he didn't make any free throws, by the way, and they lost. But anyway, I don't like him but anyway, he said that Freddie Freeman fired his agent, who is Casey Close, because he didn't tell him about the final offer. Well, he tweeted that out. Well, guess what? Now Casey Close, or Closs, or whatever it is, C-L-O-S-E, like Close? Anyway, is suing Doug Gottlieb and Fox Sports for libel. And, he may win that case because you better have evidence that he didn't do that. Be careful what you tweet. That's the rule of thumb in everything in life. Be careful what you tweet. All right, that is 3 things brought to you by Hesser and Kipke. We love Hesser and Kipke and appreciate all they have done for us. Let's go to the Leonardos and Millhopper Quick Picks. And, of course, the one from what's day today, Friday? Monday. Would Billy Horschel make the cut? Last I looked, he was above the cut line, but we don't know. We'll have to be able to tell you that Monday, whether he did or not. Hopefully he does. So this week, look, again, this is time of year, not much going on. I I picked this game out, Boston at New York Sunday night, and there you go. Pick a winner. It's not hard to qualify. We have to wait and see some of our qualifiers from the Horschel one, and then we'll go forward from there. When do you want it? Like 2 weeks maybe we'll pick another winner? I just delivered the prizes to the last two winners. But, a couple of weeks we'll pick a winner just out of a hat, and that'll be a winner that gets a lot of cool stuff, including $25 gift certificate at Leonardo's. I know that my friend Ryan was really happy with his package, and George Luttrell, who was a winner from 2 weeks before, the last one, was thrilled when he got his package. So I'm putting together really cool packages for everybody, and we're happy to do it, especially for as great as Kyle is at Leonardo's. Talked to him the other day. He's doing better from recovering from knee surgery. And he's actually starting to play golf again. So I think we're going to try to play next week. We may try to get that commercial done, too. We got to worry about that. At one point, we'll get that done, I promise you, because we don't have enough commercials. All right, let us go to This, That, and the Other. And, of course, This, That, and the Other is, as always, presented by Ironwood Golf Course, where they sanded all the greens, and it's coming back, man. You can tell the fairways actually are pretty good there now. But again, it's been a weird summer with the lack of rain and everything. But at any rate, Ironwood Golf Course, we love them out there. I play out there all the time. Played 18 yesterday, shot a 79, chipped in on the last hole for 79. How big is that? You break 80 by chipping in? It's good. I liked it. I didn't expect it, but it happened. And, of course, by Ballyhoo Grill, which is where we ate Tuesday night. So we support our sponsors. We do it with our dollars, and I hope you do too. And, of course, Dar Shakow Insurance, the great people over there, John Dar Jr., we love him, and all the great people that do that sponsorship. Let us go to This, That, and the Other. This is one of the worst days of my life. Was when Ed Ashoff passed away in 2019 on Christmas Eve. I get emotional just thinking about it. It was on his birthday, 31 years old, former employee of the Gainesville Sun, and of course had gone on and was becoming a huge star in the profession. It's still a hard day to think about. That is that the FWAA, the Football Writers Association of America, I think it sounds kind of dodgeball-ish, doesn't it? American Dodgeball Association of America. No, the Football Writers Association of America decided 3 years ago to give a Rising Star Award in the name of Ed Ashoff. So the Ed Ashoff Rising Star Award. It meant a lot to hear that. And I mean, again, I cannot tell you how much I love Ed Ashoff. I can't put it into words. He is one of my favorite people of all time. And it's still, like I said, I'm getting a little emotional here. The other is that they announced a winner this week, and the winner is Richard Johnson, who went to the University of Florida. So we got a Gator winning that award. And Richard, of course, you see him on the SEC Network. He's been writing for a long time. Really good guy. He and I aren't buddies, but maybe we should get him on the show. I've never really talked to him, but let's get him on the show. Maybe we'll have to do that now. But again, I'm welling up a little bit over thinking about Ed. I miss him so much. I miss him every day. All right. That is going to do it. I will say this. We've got a couple of sponsors that are about to come on board, and we're excited about it. East Lake Pediatrics, which is down in Tampa area. They're about to come on board. They're going to do a story time with Pat Dooley. So we need to get a good logo for that, like me in a kerchief, you got to work on that. And then the Gainesville Quarterback Club is going to come back on board for this is their season. I mean, obviously, and we'll start telling you about the great guests that they have, but we'll also have a contest, not a contest, but it's some kind of, I don't even know what it's going to be yet. It could be the play. I want to do the play of the week. And we'll have to be able to figure a way for me to get it to you, and you can get it up for the Gators. And even on a week when they don't play, we'll have another play of the week. But so we appreciate all of our sponsors, all of them for coming on board. watch the British Open. I think it's going to be unbelievable this weekend. And really, after that, all you have is nothing until football season. But that's okay. We'll figure something out. Don't forget, SEC Media Day start Monday. Monday we'll basically do my preseason All-SEC team and preseason picks. That's a good idea. Yeah, that's good. All right, because remember we did that SEC Media Day that last year? We had Phillip in the parking lot. We should get Phillip in the parking lot again. with like the Al Franken hat on. All right, that's going to do it. I hope today's show is better than the last one. I hope today's show is better than the first one. I hope next week's show will be better than this one. And that's our goal, is to keep getting better and keep having you guys listen. We appreciate the listeners and the viewers so much, but we do. For Evan, who did a great job as always today, I am Pat Dooley. I am deep. I am way back, and I am out of here.